We are wrapping it up and tying a bow on the spring season. So save that favorite spot for that favorite person and cheer your cards on. Slide into that easy chair and flex your muscles as we will give it our best shot. Sports Night is next.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sports Night. I'm Joe Young.
And I'm Howie Shapiro. It's always a little sentimental when we're doing the last Sports Night of the year, but this is it. We're here. We've come to the end.
This is it, as Mr. Morrison calls it, beautiful friend, the end. But yeah, this is it, the last show for the 2023-24 school year. And we end on a high note, at least. 9 Cardinal athletes qualified for last week's state track meet, and they finished their season on the biggest stage possible. For the girls, Nibel Jock qualified in both hurdles events, and for the boys, they had 3 guys qualify in 5 individual events and also had 2 relay teams there competing for state championships. Finals were held on Saturday at St. Michael, Albertville. Nibel Jock running in the 100-meter hurdles. She has a solid time of 14.98 seconds, finishing 5th in state. We move to the start of the 4x2 relay. Coach Russ Sullivan there to see Jerry Freeman getting out of the blocks, and he has a great start for the team. He was part of both relays that qualified for state. Cyril Lafika handles the second leg and hands off to Lance Hill at the midway point. And Kaijan Cummings-Coleman flying at the finish, trying to track down the leaders. The Cardinals will finish 5th with a time of 1 minute, 27.90 seconds. Freeman also qualified for the finals in the 400-meter dash, and his time in the final was faster than in prelims, but still a ways off of the lead. He takes 8th place in 50.61 seconds. Still a great way for him to finish his Cardinals career. Jock finishes her career in the finals of the 300-meter hurdles. She's going to take 8th place with a time of 46.38 seconds. And just amazing how well the Cardinals hurdlers have been over these past 4 years. They have had a runner in the 100-meter hurdles each year since COVID, and each of the last 3 years in the 300-meter hurdles. So pretty impressive. And obviously there were a handful of others that did not make it to the finals days. Kaijan Cummings-Coleman was the section champion in both the 100 and 200-meter dashes. Did not qualify for finals at state. He finished in 11th place in both of those events. The 4x4 relay team finished in 18th. Sam Dennis qualified in both the shot put and the discus, was the runner-up in both. He finished 6th place in the shot put and unfortunately DQ'd in the discus. Still pretty amazing to get that many people to the state tournament, and a great way for the Cardinals to finish.
Well, the one thing about the track team, they've progressed so steadily over the last number of years, but the numbers have been incredible.
Huge.
So they've been able to get a lot of kids out that are really good athletes, multi-sport athletes, able to compete and really develop this track squad.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, the state track meet was a perfect place for the spring season and really the whole school year of the Cardinal sports to come to a close. It puts a nice ribbon on the season for both track teams especially, and while many of their state qualifiers are graduating, they have a lot of youth to be excited about. For the girls team, their lone qualifier, Nibel Jock, is a senior. She made it in both hurdles distances, continuing a Cardinal streak in both events. Jock is one of 11 seniors. Most are multi-sport athletes, as I mentioned, and all have been great leaders. But considering they started the season with over 100 girls, there are a lot of athletes that gain great experience and will be ready for the shot next spring. They had a couple of girls that finished top 10 in sections and a number that were just outside those final spots. It leaves plenty of room for optimism for the program moving forward. The boys team, they had another great showing at the state, obviously 8 guys total, 5 individual events and 2 relays. The Cardinals finished 5th in true team meet this year, then grabbed 6th in the conference championships and 3rd in the section tournament. That included 5 section champions and 2 runners-up. All of the individual qualifiers were seniors, and is by half of the 4x2 relay and one of the 4 guys on the 4x4. That means they'll return 5 guys who got a taste of state meet this year. Plus, they've got even more that finished in the section final, but fell just short of the big meet. so they should have plenty of speed, skill, and experience coming back to continue pushing towards the top of the conference in true team meets. And again, just a nice season by both the boys and the girls.
Absolutely. There you see Kaijan Cummings-Coleman, Jerry Freeman, Sam Dennis, all ended their seasons and their careers at the state tournament. Aloysius Neapan, I think he finished like 4th or 5th at sections. He had been at state in long jump last year, was hoping he would make it again this year. Jason Russ, Hunter Wittenen, Logan Barker, Caleb Cullen, and Jarrett Moore. And you look at Kaijan Cummings-Coleman, he was section champion in 2 events, plus part of the relay, one of the relay teams. And then Jerry was the champion in the 400 and part of both relay teams. So they were both there in 3 events. Pretty outstanding. And, of course, Jerry Freeman, part of that state tournament basketball team as well. A pretty impressive senior year for him. There's a look at the girls. Nibel Jock, definitely the biggest loss, but a lot of great athletes behind her. Sophia Smith, Kaylee Bierman, Casey Amelsberg, Kaylee Smith, Diane Flores, I know I mispronounced that, Kanaya Cummings-Coleman, Adrienne Hayden, Macy English, Jada Gaskins, and Zekra Thomas. But as you mentioned, over 100 girls total.
Crazy.
So a lot of girls that will be coming back, and it'll be interesting to see what they're able to do next year. On the boys' side, too, we thought last year the group that they sent was really impressive, and they outdid themselves this year. Last year it was the 4x1 relay team. This year they did 2 relays, 4x2 and 4x4. What happens next year? All 3 of those, or all 4 relays? Get them all there. That's what I say.
Yeah, it's great. And again, you've got to replace a lot of really strong athletes. But as we talked about, numbers mean a lot. And so hopefully they'll come back and do some good things again next season.
Well, and that is the sad truth of high school sports. You're always going to have to replace solid athletes year after year. Well, the baseball team had its best season in a couple of years, but a lot of its success was due to that strong senior class. Cardinals finished the regular season with a flourish. Unfortunately, they fell flat at sections, but moving forward, they're going to need a whole new group to step up. Cardinals traded wins with losses throughout most of the season, hovering around the 500 mark, but they closed out the season with a 4-game win streak, putting up 29 runs during that stretch. They posted an 11-8 record, their first winning season since Matt Mossy took over in 2018. They earned a 2nd seed for sections, but were shut out in back-to-back playoff games against Anoka and Centennial. Cardinals had 9 seniors that made up the bulk of their day-to-day lineup and included almost all of their top pitching. All 3 of their all-conference players and 2 of the 3 who made all honorable mention are from the class of 2024. Sophomore Danny Scheller was the other, and he was about the only underclassman who was in the lineup every night. He'll be looked to for leadership moving forward, along with guys like Bryce Karen and Jeremy Otti. They got a fair amount of playing time this season. In addition to the 9 seniors, the Cardinals lose one of the most beloved leaders in all of Coon Rapids sports. Don Bright is stepping away after more than 30 years as an assistant for the program. His love of the game, caring nature, and wonderful sense of humor have had a huge impact on hundreds of young athletes and helped turn them into outstanding young men. He will truly be missed by all, including the 2 of us sitting here.
Oh, absolutely.
There's a look at them. Dutton, Fearing, and Kopp all named honorable mention. Jacob Maddock and Logan Ness both grabbing honorable mention honors, along with, as we talked about, the youngster Danny Scheller. Sammy Lee, Mason Myrie, Zach Novak, and Matthew Stahlberger, the other Cardinals seniors. And, as we were just talking about, it's just a reality. As in high school sports, you're going to have to replace strong athletes. It's tough when you have to replace almost an entire team.
Yeah, and again, we're going to miss Don Bright, certainly on the high school field. I talked to head coach of the Redbirds, Jeff Lindstrom, today. He said Don has no plans to retire from there. He's going to continue to coach with Lindstrom, but he's been doing it an awful long time, and just maybe needed a little step back just for a bit anyway.
Well, we look forward to seeing him at the Redbirds field tomorrow night as we continue on here.
Young Aaron Yund.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get.
Well,
the
we'll
start.
see. We'll see.
The softball team took a huge leap forward this spring with in year 2 under head coach Alicia Nelson. After going winless last year, the Cardinals posted double-digit wins this season and made their deepest playoff run in more than a decade. They'll lose some huge pieces, but they also have some girls that got great experience this year. Cardinals wasted little time showing this season it would be different than last. After losing a 1-run game to a very good Centennial team in the opener, Cards chalked up wins over Totino and Elk River and showed flashes of their offensive potential. Cardinals were a bit streaky with that offense, especially early in the year, but they put up double-digit runs 6 times this season, a feat they had done only once since 2011. They put up more than 20 runs against Denfield, something the Cardinals hadn't accomplished since 2012. They were 6-6 midway through the season and finished with a 10-13 record that included a playoff win over Anoka that helped them reach the section final four. Sorry about that. 2 more things they hadn't done in more than a decade. They also hit 4 home runs in that win over Anoka, which set a single-game record for the program. Cardinals' 3 college-bound seniors were definitely leaders, with Chloe Christie and Ryan Mellum both named All-Conference and All-Section, and Maya Ruddy named All-Conference Honorable Mention. But they'll have some talent returning as well. Freshman Pacey Olson hit .419 this season and led the team with 21 RBI, helping her earn All-Conference honors. Junior captain Sophia Bach and sophomore Annalie Anderson were a couple of the team's top pitchers, and junior Ava Kellis is a strong utility player who was in the lineup almost every game. They even had a couple of 7th graders who contributed this season. Aubrey Erickson pitched in 4 games, and Bella Fowler earned a starting spot in a lot of the games late in the year. It won't be easy to equal this year's success, but nearly impossible to replace this graduating class. They do have some solid pieces that will certainly help move this team forward.
Yeah, there they are. Kavoya, Ruddy, Christie, and Mellum, especially the last 3, just such great athletes, and they've all been 4-year starters on the program. Like you said, nearly impossible to replace them. Yes. But, if you had told us at the beginning of the year they were going to get 10 wins this year, we would have said, yeah, well, I don't, possible, but not likely. But they did it. You never know in high school sports. And yeah, Bauk and Anderson, having 2 strong pitchers with an added year of experience will help. Pacey Olson was fantastic as a freshman at the mound and also plays very well out in center field. So some good pieces to build on, but going to need to replace a lot of offense with those 3 college-bound seniors.
Well, it's true, and they did take a really nice jump from last year to this year. And
from 1 win to 10, yeah.
That's a really nice jump, and it's a testament to Coach Nelson, her staff, and what she's been able to do to turn this program around.
Yeah, well, we certainly hope to see them continue to have that type of continued progress, but we'll have to wait until next spring to really know. Tennis team, talking about teams that are exceeding expectations, tennis team continues its tradition of excellence with a season that exceeded those expectations. The Cardinals racked up 18 wins last year, but they graduated 6 of their 10 starters. It didn't seem to be a problem as this year's group took over and just kept on keeping on. Cardinals' success this season may have taken everyone by surprise, including every guy in the lineup and the coaching staff. They really didn't know what to expect, but they were committed to giving their all every match and striving to improve every day. They lost 3 of their first 4, but then the team went on an absolute tear. They won 12 of their next 14 matches. And when the dust settled, they had a 15-9 record, including a 4-2 mark in matches decided by a single point. Once again, they had a very strong senior class, including 7 letter winners. Biggest losses will be captains Blake DeGroat, who anchored the top doubles teams, and Ryder Held, who finished all conference and chalked up more than 50 wins in a 4-year varsity career. However, they will return sophomore Cooper Held, who moved into the top singles spot this season and played well enough to earn all conference, and Austin Hacker, who had 18 wins in his first full season at varsity and was named honorable mention for his efforts. Adding guys like Nikolai Hirsamaki and Joe Dida and Ciaran McCarthy, who played almost every match this year, they showed steady progress, and they'll definitely have pieces to build on next spring. Cardinals have managed at least 10 wins every year since COVID, with these last 2 being their most successful. Where they go from here, we'll have to wait and see, but they've written a pretty impressive story so far, and it'll be interesting to see how the next chapter plays out. There are your seniors: Ryder Held, Will Wagner, Blake DeGroat, Nathan Hevern, Adam Ludke, Joey Ditta, Nathan Yang, Brock Boren, Caleb Russell, and Jack Howard.
Well, you know, we talked about it several times on the show. The thing that impressed me the most, last year they lost, I think it was six
of their starting 10
out of 18 wins. They had 18 wins, and for this team to come back and get 15 this year after losing so much, that's impressive, and that just shows you how this program has grown, continues to grow under Coach Stork, and what they want to do to put this program in the right direction.
Well, and we have talked over the years. I mean, we've been here a few years sitting here watching this, and the tennis team is one of those programs that continually is able to rebuild, and a big part of that is Scott Stork. And not only that he coaches both of the high school teams, but he also is very involved with tennis for the younger kids just starting to get into tennis. So a lot of these players he knows since they're little bitty kids at first starts, and he also is very good at getting athletes to come out and come play. The athletes that play other sports but don't have a spring sport, gets them out there and teaches them how to use the skills they have from other sports to play tennis. And again, tennis is a lifelong sport. Once you get hooked, you can play forever. One of the many things I admire about Coach Stork is he's able to look at his team and really tinker with lineups. I mean, he's done that year after year, kind of develop and see where his strengths are in regards to singles versus doubles, and kind of, you know, mix and match different guys till he comes up with the best opportunities. Well, and the other thing I think was so special about this team over the last 5 or 6 years is the top singles spot, right? You had Sam Murillo there. He came up as an 8th grader and took over as your first singles player, then missed a year because of COVID, and then played 3 more years, made it to state at least once, I think twice in there. And then when he graduates, you hand that top spot off to a sophomore in Cooper Held, and he played very, very well and proved that he belonged there playing against the best in the conference of the section. And he's got 2 more years to give him that's quality at the top of the lineup. So good on ya. Yeah, good on ya is right. Well, the boys golf team had a solid season, and there's reason to believe it's just the beginning. The Cardinals had 6 seniors on the roster, but only 2 or 3 made the varsity lineup for most of the events. They'll return their top 2 guys and a handful of others that could make a big impact moving forward. Cardinals had 4 guys score in the 80s in their opening match, and things only got better as the season went on. Cardinals' best finish in a conference match was 9th place, but they were typically much closer to the teams ahead of them than the ones behind them. They had several events where they were just a handful of strokes away from being right in the middle of the Northwest Suburban. Their top 3 scorers showed the potential to score into the 70s, and all 3 were named All-Conference Honorable Mention. Junior Oscar Berg scored in the 70s in 5 of the 9 matches he played and had a team best average of 80 for the season. Fellow junior Noah Law had a team low round at 73 at the conference championship and was the only Cardinal to qualify for the second round in the sections. Several other underclassmen had an impact in the lineup, all the way down to 7th grader Brady Lechner, who earned his way in at the end of the season and shot in the mid-80s in the conference and section matches. Gavin DeVries was the Cardinals' most consistent senior, averaging just over 83. He and the other seniors will leave holes to fill, but it seems the program is in good hands moving into the future. Yeah, I went through and looked, and I think 4 was the most seniors ever in a lineup, and I think that was only in 1 event all year. 3 was relatively typical to see 3 of the seniors in, but in a lot of them, only 2 seniors were in the lineup. Gavin DeVries was there every match, and as he should be. He finished honorable mention, and again, he was 3rd on the team in average. Henry Defoe, Matthew Anderson, Nolan Schultz, Rowan Bresnahan, and Tyler Barsness, the seniors. The group they leave behind, especially Law and Berg, really, we talk about it every year. the real time to improve starts now.
Oh, summer, absolutely.
100%. It's what happens between now and next spring is what will determine how well they can play next year. But if you can get two guys that are in the 70s every time they take the course, two more that are low 80s into the 70s, and all of a sudden you're a team that's in the 4 to 5 range instead of the 12 to 13
range.
Bet. So, well, on the girls' side, the scores may not have been exactly where they would have liked, but the Cardinals feel pretty good about where they are. The Cardinals lose just 2 seniors, and while they both were consistent top scorers, the team has a lot of solid athletes ready to step up and take their places. The Cardinals didn't have a win in head-to-head competitions this year. They finished last in the conference tournament and 13th out of 14 at sections. Still, Coach Chad Keeney says he's never been more optimistic heading into an offseason. They have a dozen players who will be coming back, evenly divided between the sophomore and junior classes. That includes their most consistent players, junior Lily McKenzie and Abby Semensky, and sophomores Allie Hill and Caitlin Davis took turns as the Cardinals' lowest scorers, with each having a team best score in at least 2 events. Having that type of competition at the top bodes well for the future of the program. The key will be what happens between now and next spring. It's almost impossible to see significant improvement during a very short high school season. So if they want to see their scores continue to fall, it's up to each of them to put in the work over the summer. If they get on the course as much as possible, maybe get some lessons to help fine-tune their swings, and just continue to play the game, learn to deal with the different situations on the course, and find consistency, these Cardinals could be a dangerous force in 2025. And that is why Coach Keeney was so excited, as you see Anna Kelly and Sophia Meyer, the 2 seniors. He said he's very confident that these girls are going to be on the course a lot. They're going to play a lot. They're going to get lessons. They're going to work on the fine points of the game that will really help them be in a better place next spring. And I know, again, several of them are multi-sport athletes and very competitive athletes. So that gives them a little bit more drive.
Well, the good thing, too, for the boys and the girls is they're able to go and play over at Bunker, being part of the team. They're able to go on the course as much as they want and continue to work on their game. That's a huge bonus. It's a nice course, obviously, there, and it's something if they can continue to get a number of rounds in over the summer, you can improve your game.
Well, and I... You know me, I love the hockey players.
Yes, you do.
But what I found very interesting, Lily McKenzie plays right-handed, but putts left-handed. She's left-handed hockey player. And me, and I don't know, I'm not the one to give out too much, but I will say when I moved from right-handed to left-handed on the golf course, I became much better, much faster.
Really?
Oh, it's so much easier for me to control the club head. Not necessarily a good idea for her, especially before her senior year. But she's a good athlete, and I love the lefties too.
Yep.
So.
Gotta like that. Well, both lacrosse teams started the season with new head coaches, and both saw some encouraging results. For the boys team, former assistant Chris Tott stepped into the top spot in year 4 of the co-op, and the Catbirds had a solid bounce-back season after scoring just 2 wins a year ago. It took the SLPCR squad a minute to get it going this spring. They lost their first 2 of 5 and their first 6, or 2, and lost 5 of their first 6 games. Things got a little better after that point, with the team putting up a little more on offense and becoming a little stingier on defense. They finished the regular season winning 3 straight and 5 of their last 7. They scored double digits in 6 contests this season, and not coincidentally, it's the 6 games that they won. They gave up double digits in 6 of their 8 losses. Their 6-8 record put them in the middle of the conference, but included a first-round exit from the playoffs. They will lose some significant pieces to graduation, including leading scorer Nolan Hazelwood and Trent Burke, who was tied for second on the team in points. And also keeper Tommy Scramstad, who has been a rock between the pipe for the last 3 seasons. Big returners include sophomore Toby Tranby, who is second on the team with 29 goals and tied with Burke with 37 points, and junior Brody Herzog, who is third on the team in goals and 4th in points. So we'll see next spring if they can keep the momentum moving forward.
There are your seniors: Trey Holman, Jacob Kohler, Trent Burke, Calvin Schnabel. Nolan Hazelwood, Marlon Kumatz Medina, Devin Bosson, Trenton Tyson, Eli Bowden, and Jack Sudbeck. It'll be interesting to see, because I look back, I had forgotten Brody Herzog was actually played some goalie in his freshman year, and now with Scramstead leaving, I don't know that he'll be. They're going to need the scoring, but they're also going to need a keeper. Never easy to replace a 3-year starter between the pipes.
Well, he was solid too. I mean, he kept them in every night, just about every night. So.
Well, progress for the girls program looks a little bit different and requires a closer examination to really see. Coon Rapids alum Paige Fosslin took over a program that has really struggled. They took a baby step this season, but hopefully set a foundation that can build on towards the future. When Fosslin contacted AD Jeff Thompson last spring, she was really just looking to help out. Instead, she became the third coach in team history. She inherited a program that was winless last year and hadn't won more than 3 games in a season since 2017. They didn't exactly end that streak as they went 0-14 again this spring, but the results were better. Cardinals were only shut out twice this season and scored 3 or more in 10 of their 14 games. Last season, they were shut out 6 times and only scored 3 or more twice. They averaged a little more than 4 goals per game this season. That's almost a 400% improvement over the year before. They're still a long way from where they want to be, but it's at least a step in the right direction. The question becomes, how do you take the next step, and how do you create continued progress? They will have to find the answers without some key pieces, obviously. Cardinals will lose both of their goaltenders along with 2 of their top 3 scorers. The good news is junior Katie Wiggin proved herself on the offensive end, finishing second on the team with 16 goals this year. Freshman Caitlin Easton and sophomore Emily Bournes have also shown potential to help the squad moving forward. There are a number of other underclassmen who gained great experience this season, so hopefully they'll be able to end this long drought when they get back on the field next spring. I'm just looking forward to shouting, Cardinals win! Cardinals win!
Well, let's hope we can do it.
Oh my goodness, the Cardinals win!
First game of the year.
There you go. There's your seniors, your 2 goaltenders, Alyssa Satter and Samantha Marnholz. Natalie Hansen, Brianna George, Jocelyn Klein, Isabel Allen, Felicity Bonilla, Annette Abbott, Ashley Flynn, and Emily Kelly, the other seniors. And, again, it's encouraging versus discouraging really depends on how you look at the results. And I think that looking at it through the right lens, a lot of positives from this program, even though they did not get a win this year.
This program has nowhere to go but up, quite obviously. However, a little bit more offense than they had a year ago, so that's one of the positive things that you can take. And then you hope you replace some of those leaders that you're losing as seniors to graduation. One of the biggest things for me is that maybe they can get some other kids that are interested to kind of bulk up their numbers and see what they can do, especially on the offensive end. But it's not going to be easy.
No. They will definitely have their work cut out for them. But another season, another school year is in the book for Sportsnight. We want to thank everybody out there for joining us and continuing to support everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, including Howie Shapiro, I'm Joe Young. Saying good night.